Katana ZERO is a game developed by ASCIIsoft and published by Devolver Digital. Now, I first saw this game back in 2016 at PAX East in Boston at the Adult Swim booth, and I instantly fell in love. I immediately added the game to my Steam wishlist, and I've been waiting for its release ever since. It took a while, but I can say that the wait was worth it. Now, the game is a traditional 2D side-scrolling platformer, but you have the ability to slow down time, wall jump, roll through enemies, deflect bullets, and much more. With each death, you restart the same room, not the entire level, making it a fun challenge to try and improve the efficiency and the speed and the cool factor of each attempt. The game encourages you to move around quickly, finishing each level as fast as you can. While I do think that the game has a fair amount of challenge, I do think that some of the areas were too easy. The game is set in a cyberpunky future in a fictional city called the 3rd District. You work as a samurai assassin for a shady, mysterious organization whose motives and intentions are completely unknown to you. Each mission you are assigned a target through a dossier, and you have to hunt them down through the seedy underbelly of the 3rd District, killing anyone that stands in your way. You can interact with other characters through speech and dialogue options, but personally, these options didn't seem very impactful, only changing the character's response and moving on with the story. The game is at least a little bit self-aware, and it has some good humor and levity to lighten the situation. This is a very brutal game with a lot of violence, especially in the cutscenes, so it needs that counterbalance to really work. I've been hearing a lot of people compare this game to Hotline Miami, and there's good reason for that. You can look at the aesthetic, the music choice, the environment design, the main respawn mechanic of dying and then restarting the level. But I do think it's a bit unfair. I think that this game can really stand on its own. I will say though that if you did enjoy Hotline Miami 1 or 2, then you will most likely enjoy this game as well. Something that I didn't really mention before was the replay mechanic. This is actually something that is a little unnoticed and I think a bit underappreciated, and it's not necessarily impactful, but it is a cool feature to have. Every time you complete an area, you get a fast replay at the end that shows your entire run, with anything slowed down sped up to real time. It's pretty cool to see, and also pretty satisfying to watch. One thing I'd really like to praise this game on is the variation in environments, mechanics, and backdrops. It really is a beautiful looking game, and you get to visit some very interesting looking places. Unlike some other indie games where you see the same tile set repeated over and over and reused and rehashed, this game does a pretty good job of introducing new assets and new artwork in every area that you go to. I was actually really pleasantly surprised with the number of new mechanics that were being introduced as well. For example, in one level you're playing on a minecart and you have to juggle fighting on the minecart and jumping off and jumping back on. You also have another level where you're riding on a motorcycle on the highway and you have to evade oncoming cars and traffic. These are things that I never would have expected coming out of the demo or even the first level. It really felt like the developers were having fun coming up with new ideas to introduce to the player. Something else that actually really surprised me, and I'm really happy that they nailed it, was the music in this game. And it really is so pumping. I do think that there might have been some problems with mastering and normalizing some of the volume, but I think overall the music sounds great, it feels so appropriate, and I think whoever composed the soundtrack did an amazing job. To wrap it all up, I'm really happy with this game. I've waited so many years for its release after playing that first demo at PAX East, and I don't have anything else to say other than I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do in the future with this. I will say though that I do think it may have been a little too easy in some areas, and I wish that they had more sequences like the final boss fight. I think the characters are well developed, they're interesting, and there are some really heartwarming moments that counterbalance the more brutal ones. The entire world is built up in a really interesting way, and I just want more. Thankfully, It seems like the developers have plans to develop more, so I'm going to be keeping this up on my radar for as long as I can. I hope to see more of this in the future, in the form of DLC or even a sequel, and I cannot do anything more than highly recommend this game. Please check out Katana ZERO. It's on the PC and Nintendo Switch.